Okay, I added a little message in the chat so that everybody knows how to raise their hand. You can wave. I will try to see you, but yeah, so don't have anyone yet.
I saw a hand, Susanna from Louisa. Oh, and Esther. And there you are. There's three hands.
Okay, Louise, you can go ahead.
Okay, you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi.
Hi.
I'll do my best in English, but okay. You talk about loving yourself, the small self. Okay, not you were talking about that, and I heard that we cannot love this self because it is maybe I don't understand, but that's what I heard, that we cannot love this part because it's guilt and fear and anger and hatred. And in the same time, I hear so often from David and you and everyone and Marga that you have to be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. And I am so harsh with myself. It used to be this way for years, and I'm learning to love myself. And I'm just I don't understand pretty well. Could you give me an answer, please?
Yeah, I think the one that is very harsh is the ego, because the ego first invented this self, and but it is hatred, because that's what ego is. So the ego can constantly make comments about itself and to say it's not enough because it never feels enough. So all the harsh judgments that we're used to throughout in our lives are all ego thoughts about who we are, even though this who we are was taught by the ego as well. So it's quite confusing. It's an illusion, it's a mistake. And the ego comes back in, assuming this self he creates is real, and then heavily attack it every day. So yes, we have to, the way is we have to start to learn to identify with the spirit. And to identify with the spirit means to step out of the ego, because the spirit is extremely gentle, and because the spirit knows who we are, the spirit has nothing bad to say. It's too glory to judge. It's not possible to even be talked about. It's that glorious, it's that magnificent. So the spirit is never harsh, it's never judgmental. And for us, all the healing lies in us step out of the ego to identify with the spirit. That's all we have to do. And I think you bring a very good point, because in the moment when we are judging ourselves, when we do that, we always look back and thinking something we did or who we are, what we said is worthy this judgment. So we keep looking back and trying to form some kind of judgment, either to just beat ourselves up or to learn from it and improve it for the future. That's what the ego does. But we don't really realize that moment when the thought comes in, is the moment of the ego. And that is the moment we need to step out of. Not the past that we need to learn from, not the future that we need to prepare for. That very moment, if you can catch yourself saying all these things, or easily, more easily done is to notice when I don't feel good. That's the moment for us to say, there must be some negative thoughts that we're listening to and following right in this moment. And it's time right in this moment for me to step out. What do you have to say, Spirit? It is as simple as that, really. And then the Spirit will bring a very gentle interpretation that we can feel, resonate with. And I can guarantee you, it is not something we have to come up with ourselves. It's not something necessarily we have to be like metaphysically 100% correct. The Spirit always brings something that can really land and resonate with the core of my being, that feels right, that feels loving, and it feels undoes the previous judgmental perception or perspective that I hold. So this is the moment of healing, and all really we need to do is to want that moment over and over and over again, over and over and over again. So yes, be gentle. I think you need to unmute yourself.
Yes, again. Okay.
Yeah.
I felt for past week, I asked for help in I heard a video from David about don't zip your emotion and feelings. Okay, let them come out. And I'm doing this with Marga now, and it was so strong. Maybe that's the answer of the Holy Spirit. She just told me, okay, what are you feeling now? How do you feel? And I cried and cried and cried, and so much from the past. But it was not at this time really from the past, but it was the feeling that I had, all the pain and the hurt from the past. But after I talked about that, I felt more and more calm. And when you're talking about the answer of the Holy Spirit, I think it's that exposing is coming from the Holy Spirit. And the day after, I just finished with that. And the day after, I had I was in a very dark place and despair, and I come to my husband and just ask, just tell him what I am learning with Marga. And in few minutes, I come up and said, huh? There's nothing. Where's the drama? No more drama. It was gone, vanished. Dark and light. Okay, that's it. And that's it. That's what I want to share. It's maybe that's the answer. Not maybe. I feel that the and Holy Spirit answer is to let it up and out.
Yeah, the Holy Spirit doesn't repress and suppress. It's just so much permission, because the Holy Spirit knows it's not true, so it doesn't prevent and defend against anything. So yeah, I think it is definitely a beautiful step to go toward exposing and let it out. Yeah.
Okay, we have another question from Shannon. Go ahead, Shannon.
Hi there.
Hi, Shannon.
I wanted to ask about communication. I feel that in my life with people who aren't familiar with like the clarity process or Course in Miracles, that I'm constantly trying to in my head say, okay, how should I communicate with them, or when should I express or not? And it usually I do focus a lot on like the behavior of communication, and but also because I have a lot of like my often lots of thoughts at the same time or a lot of energy, if I try to suppress it, it just comes out. But then it usually the purpose of it is usually one of trying control or about ego preferences or still with like that self concept. And I had one time where one day I didn't like talk to anybody, and like I still engaged and interacted, but I just like kind of did like a silence, and that felt really good. But I feel like I don't know where that middle ground is. And yeah, and also I just want to add like to say a prayer around you really wanting to use communication for expressing love and for like that extension of forgiveness. So.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, thank you, Shannon. I think I have gone through many phases around expression and who to express to, how much, to what degree I express to, and if I can just summarize right now, I would say that one thing I know for sure is that if my purpose is really clear, then the means and the outcome are also very clear. So if my purpose is now very clear, then the outcome seems to be back and forth. So what I started to do was to, you know, I have gone through a very helpful phase where I allow everything to come up, not censoring it with the people around me, because I did at the time have a lot of medic companions around me, and not so much expressing with people who wouldn't be able to hold the space for me, because at the time I was still very vulnerable and tender with expressing, so I needed to be held through that. And then gradually I realized I could actually give the process to the spirit, because I experienced a phase where the ones I really want to go to express weren't available to me anymore, or expressing to them didn't have the same release anymore. It was very confusing for me. And so then I realized if I just again hold a purpose, I want to be able to release this, spirit, send me the means so that I can release it. And then I have to accept the means that the spirit sent. Sometimes other people I actually really didn't want to express this, but it turned out to be amazing and miraculous, and it was healing for both. So then I also gone through phases where I asked the spirit to provide me anything that I can experience a healing. And then there are times where there was no expression needed and it was redirection. The spirit gave me a project to do. Suddenly in the project, I experienced miracles. I experienced new insights. Everything was healed. So it was like more and more to open up to the means that I can say yes to every means if I hold the prayer of release very clearly in my mind, and I do see the consistency of the outcome, no matter the means. So I just hope that is helpful, because I did go through different phases. So, you know, through being very, very dependent on people, and absolutely needed that phase, to not having to even judge or discern or like look for the signs. Just know these people I can always go to. And it was very, very helpful. So yeah.
I think I saw Eva Britt's hand up. Did you still want to share?
And it feels a bit like early to ask this, but what has come up for me in mind is like, I've heard David at some point, he talked about people thoughts, no people thoughts, like coming to even shorter than these guidelines, and to come to see more and more, it's all my mind, it's all, every relationship, every, yeah, I feel it's like opening up a bit for me, but yeah, if you have something to say around that, to come to see that more and more.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. I think, you know, it's so deep. The idea of bodies is such a deeply rooted illusions, and everything that seems to happen in our daily lives are completely around that assumption and that illusion. So it is quite a redirection to move away. And what I found is that I can't really achieve it on my own. I can't just change my mind on my own. So I feel I'm very dependent on the spirit to do this healing job for me. So how does the spirit achieve that massive task to have us have no people thoughts? Is to bring every single thing that we do in life, which is very much around people thoughts, body thoughts, people agenda or body agendas, which is to have all of them and give them one unified goal and purpose. That is how the spirit is going to unify the mind. It's first to unify the purpose of absolutely everything we see and absolutely everything we do. And today our topic is relationship, and I think that is also a very good point to say that the spirit wants us to unify the purpose of all our relationships. So what is the purpose that the spirit wants us to achieve is to use everything we do as a way to bring him in, you know, to demonstrate him in our seeming doings and actions and relationships. And that is how we start to see the real me, the real self that is shining through. And it is inevitable for us to lay aside this identification that we are bodies, that the body has any significance to us at all. If we just keep this unified purpose in mind, I think, yeah, the spirit also said one thing in the course which is quite astonishing. He says, you do not want anything that you value to come off a relationship. So when I first read that sentence, I thought, I don't want anything I value to come off a relationship. Wow, what is relationship for then? I value love, I value connection, I value joy. What spirit is saying is that you do not want any of this to come of a relationship or a body or the external world or a perceptual world. You do not want love, joy, connection, this real fulfillment to come from a perceptual world, because there isn't any. And if you want it to come of it, you're going to keep searching. But really what you're searching is self-completion. He says, you're really wanting self-completion. Even you want to find fulfillment in relationships, find the ideal life partner, really what you're looking for is self-fulfillment. You still believe your brother can complete you. You still believe this relationship can complete you. But he is saying, I can complete you. And you will see that you don't need anything. So everything, when the perception still lasts, can be just an extension of me. But you and I are the real relationship. He says it over and over again, you and I. So what I take from it is that, okay, clearly I'm massively deluded, because I see bodies around, I see myself, I see people around, but there is no point in judging that. So all that we know is, if Spirit says there is a pointed way out of this, and a pointed way is to bring him to guide us, then let us use absolutely everything in our daily life or our relationship to say, I will not use them to complete me anymore, but I will constantly hold you in my prayer. Anytime I need to make a decision, I will call on you. Anytime I feel bad because a judgment comes to my mind, I will call on you. Anytime I talk to someone, I will call on you. So that everything is completely a portal for me to call on you to complete me and fulfill me. And this is going to lead to what you're saying, Eva Britt, no people thoughts, because your mind is completely filled up by the Spirit. And you see there are countless opportunities to extend that light and to reinforce that in our awareness. Because even when we have those moments of holy instant, Spirit said that doesn't take away the need for learning. The Spirit is still going to teach you until the holy instant becomes extending to the end of time. There is no exceptions anymore. You are forever in that experience. Then the need of learning is gone. So for us, let's just say, okay, I'm going to call on this moment. This is the moment. This is the moment. And then keep doing that. So yeah. Thank you, Elizabeth.
We have Esther next. Go ahead.
Thanks. I have kind of a two-part question. I'm living at my mom's, and a lot of guilt comes up that the management might not approve. And I have my friend Alan telling me that that if it wasn't that guilt, it would be another projection. And I'm scared that they would tell me no, that I can't, and that I wouldn't know how to help my mom the magnitude that she needs it. I would have to move her out of here, and then I wouldn't be able to see her because of COVID. And the other question is like a relationship that I have with a friend. She says that she feels certain things that I do and assume and things, and I don't know how to express, but I love her, and I just don't know how to work with what I said to her in the past, and why I don't talk to her, and the way I talk to another friend of mine openly about what's going on with me or whatever, and seemed to be closed down when I talk to her, just not go deep into content all the time with her, and she likes that when I do. I don't know what I'm asking. I'm just expressing a little bit of I want to I really want to heal the split that I feel in my mind sometimes with regarding to these specifics, even though I know that there is a generalizability to all of it.
Yeah. Well, what I'm hearing is you feel some kind of stress or the frustration that the situation seems to be a bit out of control of how you see would be the best and most meaningful and most helpful. So I think, yeah, it is probably very, very stressful for the mind if we keep looking at the specifics and see that they're really out of our control. You know, no matter how much we do, they're constantly going the direction that we don't want them. So I think really the way to go about it is just basically trust the spirit to give us an experience in the mind to say that we can still relax and we wouldn't want an outcome of our own. You know, no matter the outcome that you think is the best, the spirit knows a better outcome. And that is much, much better in the greater plan. So I would say really for us is just to let go of any expectations and any expected outcome that we hold in mind, thinking that's the best for us. And just to say, you know best, and I will trust. I will let you orchestrate the event with my mom and the management, and I will let you interact with my friend next time when I see her, and it's all in your hands. And that's where you can relax and just watch how things play out in a miraculous way. That's really what we do.
Okay, we have Colin Dang. Go ahead.
Hey.
Hi, Colin.
Hey, Francis. Yeah, I guess in the middle of the session, the thought to share kind of came in. I mean, I didn't really kind of think about it or plan it, but yeah, and it's been happening, which I might even want to write to you about. But I guess I feel since this session is about relationship, and I just yeah, I don't know if it's question, maybe it's just more sharing, but yeah, I just have so much relationship thing with you. That's just the biggest thing in my mind constantly. Every day, it's just so much there, and yeah, and even though you shared that we're not gonna be together in that way as in a partner relationship in our life, like ever, and yeah, it still feels like a very valuable thing to me, like the affection and everything, which I also kind of constantly express, or talk about here and there, and feel it here and there strongly, and yeah, and I guess one of the main thought was like was feeling or hoping that the closeness or the feeling of closeness is not gonna be limited by the relationship types, or like, I don't know. I mean, even though the ultimate metaphysics is like everything is one, everything is close, but there's still this thought of like, I'm just afraid of not going to feel like as closeness can get, like super close with you because of the relationship types. Like we cannot be in that kind of relationship or something. I just feel such a thing, like such a hope and comfort and relief in that closeness with you. And I guess whenever I feel maybe I'm gonna lose it, or maybe I just cannot be very close or cannot be closer because I cannot be in a partner kind of relation with you, that just brings me so much, just brings me down, so much fear, and just it just brings me, I guess, kind of desperation. But that's whenever I feel the closeness there, or feel we can still be very close, which I don't know if it refers to physically or not physically, or both. But that just kind of brings me out. I just feel so much confident with that. And yeah. Yeah, and I guess because the skill, like, I'm afraid that's not okay, or I shouldn't feel this way, or I shouldn't need that, but it feels like I need that. And yeah, I guess I just really share that. And I don't know if you have anything to say around that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think first of all, I just want to say that there is nothing wrong to want, because I mentioned it to Colin earlier as well, like this desire for love and intimacy and connectedness feels it's who we are, you know. In the end, it's just of course we as long as we still believe in body, this is where we're going to project it on, and this is where we're going to want to experience it with. And probably in the past experience, this is what we have experienced it from, and it feels like it is what we feel we wanted. And I just want to say that the spirit would not judge that. The spirit would not deprive us with that. And there's nothing wrong to say, I want some affection, I want to be close with someone. But this is what I found, is that because the spirit knows that just two bodies together, that don't provide anything in and of itself, because bodies can be together, minds can be apart, and there can be no connection whatsoever. So the spirit is wanting to give us an experience that will never be dependent on external things, that will never be sometimes here and sometimes gone. So the spirit doesn't want to waste time, and he's giving us everything that is really needed. And yet we have to allow the form to be orchestrated according to his plan. And in my experience, I know that the intimate relationships come into our lives as well along this journey, as a way to mirror, to see what we hold valuable, and to, of course, to extend that connection as well. But more and more, I just feel like, yeah, I feel very close with you. I feel very close with a lot of people just by us sharing such a deep purpose together. We can have such deep conversation and trust, so deep. The trust is so deep that it feels extremely fulfilling, and yet we let everything just to be in the hands of the spirit. And I trust the spirit knows when to bring you the relationship that is most helpful for you and for everything. And I also just feel like, yeah, I see that the relationship that we have with each other are only going one direction, which is the deepening and the closer, getting more and more closer, is not going to go the other way around. So I just have so much faith in the Spirit's plan, that his plan is just for us to expand the capacity of our love with each other, with the Spirit, and constantly extend it in the way that he directs. You know, in the end, the body is just used by him to direct a smile, a talk, a hug, and, you know, with the ones that the Spirit picks and chooses. So we just want to have so much trust and give it all over to the Spirit. And then in the end, we want an experience that cannot be denied. So I feel like I'm with you in this path.
Okay, we don't have any hands right now.
Okay. Ah. Well, thank you everybody for being part of this discussion. Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you, Colin, for following the prompt and initiating this topic. I can see how deep this can go, you know, with the relationship topic.
Yeah, thank you so much to Francis and Susanna for all your help there, and just everyone. It's just I'm on the gallery view. It's so beautiful to see everyone, and yeah, it's so precious. So it feels like we are, you know, like we're together. We're in this together.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, thank you so much for being together in this. Yeah, I love you guys so much.
Yeah, I love you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.